There once lived a man in a false reality. Though time and space existed for many, time and space did not exist for this man. He spent the majority of his days looking up at the clouds and the blue sky. Children in the village would pass by this man. And they would look up at him, and they would smile. And they would look up at the sky, the same sky that the man was looking up at. And the children smiled, and they looked back at the man. And the man could feel the presence of these smiling beings. And he looked down, and he smiled to the children who smiled at him. And then he immediately looked back up at the sky. Now the other villagers didn't quite understand him. They were confused. They talked in circles by firelight. They said, "Why does he always look at the sky? Why does he always look at the clouds? I just don't understand this." And they couldn't really figure him out. And then the villagers they started to grow skeptical of the man who looked at the clouds so much. And then they started to grow fearful of him, because they could not relate to him, and they didn't know what he was up to. So whispers began. The whispers went from house to house about how the man that looked at the clouds was actually a wizard, and he could not be trusted. When the children heard of this, they laughed, for they knew that he was not a wizard. He just enjoyed looking at the sky. And he was not consumed or obsessed with the things that most humans, or most adult humans, were obsessed with. He had no worldly desires. He did not desire this or that. He did not need riches. He did not need to own anything. He needed food and he needed shelter. And he needed water. But other than those three things, he didn't need much. He lived on his own. And then all of a sudden, one day, a baby was brought to his door, wrapped in cloth. And he opened the door. He was confused at first. And on the baby, tucked inside the cloth, was a note. And it said, "Dear wizard, can you please take after this child? For I know you are a person that is very peaceful, and you love all things, and I think you would really love this child. For I do not have money, and my house is already too crowded for this child. Please take it." And soon as the wizard picked up the child, he realized that he was missing something in his life. And it was love. For he loved the sky, and he loved to walk. But the one thing that he missed was a baby, was raising something of his own, and giving that his full attention and love. And once the villagers saw this man with the baby, they stopped whispering, they stopped gossiping, because they realized he was an alright guy. And a very interesting thing happened. When the man was walking down the street with the baby, he would look at the sky, and the baby would look at him. And when the baby saw that his eyes were looking at the clouds, the baby also started looking at the clouds. And the baby became so obsessed with the clouds and the blue sky that the baby started to lift into the air and started to hover over the man carrying it. And the baby gave the old man one last smile. And the baby floated up into the air and into the clouds. The old man was sad to watch the baby go, for the old man had grown close to the baby, and the old man loved the baby. But he had realized that the baby was brought to him so the baby could find its true purpose. That was to fly in the air amongst the clouds. The person who gave the baby to the old man knew that about him. And the person who gave the baby to the old man had an understanding that the old man's passion for the clouds and the sky would create that love inside the baby. And the baby would leave this earth to go live in the clouds. And sometimes on sunny days, you could still see the baby flying in the air, still a baby amongst the birds. Still to this day, thousands of years later. That's it. Have a good day, guys. Peace.